Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. It is day 179, August the 31st, 2017. And today actually is Thursday. See, I told you yesterday when it was Wednesday that it was actually Thursday, but it was actually Wednesday. See, what happened this week is I'm off on Friday and on Monday, so I have a 4-day weekend coming up. I want Thursday to get here so bad that I want every day to be Thursday. But actually yesterday was Wednesday. Don't know if you caught that, but yes, this is actually Thursday's video. So you're getting this video on Thursday. Thank you so much for tuning in. That was a tough intro. Now, let's get right to it. Let's see. Debbie Blabbermouth Wasserman Schultz, IT staffer Imran Awan, was banned from the House network months ago. But he still, to this day, has an active secret email account on the House network. This is amazing. This is absolutely stunning. You can only assume at this point that these people in Washington are even more incompetent than we ever dreamed. It's just amazing. We know that the DC police, the Capitol Police, have been investigating this now since March of 2016. After all this time and all this information they've looked at and all that has gone down, they still are just now learning that Imran Awan still has an active account in the email account in the Democratic House network. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, these people are beyond incompetent. So we can assume at this point that the rotten Reverend Clinton, Debbie Blabbermouth Wasserman Schultz, and the entire Democratic Party are a threat to national security. My suggestion is that we remove all digital devices from the Democrats. We need to give them a pen, a paper, and a single-line phone. And we should probably put a mean old someone who taught school in the Catholic school system back, in the 40s or something. Grab some old 100-year-old former teacher, the type that would smack you on the knuckles when you did something you weren't supposed to do. Or what our teacher would do is kick the back of our chair, or grab us by the ear and twist our ear. That's what they did when we were in school to get our attention. This is exactly what they need to do to the Democrats. Clearly, these people do not understand technology, and even the Capitol Police. Let's give them a storyboard. Let's give them a couple of cans and a piece of string. I don't know what you have to do, but this is absolutely unacceptable. How in the world is this possible? And he's probably still been communicating on this secret email account. And who else has he been communicating with? And how many other secret accounts does he have? How many different user accounts do you think Imran Awan has created? How many of them do you think they've discovered? This is amazing. And the fact that this guy was, working there for 13 years. And the whole time they're investigating this stuff, and they're just now learning that he's got a secret email account still to this day on the DNC's or on the Democratic Party in Congress on their email server. Absolutely extraordinary. We get this idea a lot of times that because these people are members of Congress or they're the honorable senator this, senator that, we're given the illusion that these are somehow the best and brightest, that these people are somehow smarter than we are or whatever. This is the illusion that we're given. But I'm telling you, I've met some of these politicians. I'm observing what I'm reporting to you today in addition to everything else. And then we even go back to 9/11 and all the reports that we heard of FBI agents reporting all the way up the chain. We have the man who owned the airport down in Florida where they came to fly the little airplanes where they couldn't actually even fly little airplanes. And they were contacting government officials at that point in the FBI. Hey, I got some guys down here. I got this one guy who walked in here. He couldn't hardly park his car in the parking lot. Then he came in here, and he could barely speak English. And then he whipped out his wallet, and he showed me credentials where he's got 35,000 hours of flight time in commercial planes. Wanted to rent a small Cessna. We took him up for a test flight. He didn't seem to know what in the world he was doing, even in a small Cessna. And then, of course, he goes on September 11th, that we're talking about Hani Hanjour, to fly the plane that hit the Pentagon, where he executed a 360-degree diving circle, leveling off at a speed of about 530 knots, about 130 miles per hour faster than the plane was designed to fly, and he puts it directly into the Pentagon. Absolutely extraordinary. But that's a whole other issue, isn't it? But what we're looking at here is that these people are really, really not that bright. I mean, they really aren't. These are not very bright people. And this story capsulizes that very, very well. The incompetence, even of the Capitol Police. They've been investigating since the spring of 2016, and they're just now discovering this email server where Imran Awan still has a secret account. And I'll tell you what, Capitol Police, let me give you a little hint. There's probably not just one email account there. He's probably created hundreds of dummy email accounts. This is probably how he's been sending information and everything else. These are horribly incompetent people. They're a threat to national security. I'm telling you, they should be given a pencil, a piece of paper, a single-line phone, and they should be watched by someone with some level of intelligence. I mean, these people are incompetent. How in the world does this happen? Okay, oh boy, trying to figure this out is it's impossible, because none of us are used to working around this level of incompetence. It doesn't happen in the private sector, really. It only happens in government. You know, there was an old saying that politics in Washington is for, what was that phrase? It's a Hollywood for ugly people. But it's become Hollywood for ugly and stupid people. These are really incompetent people. I mean, Hillary's excuse for what she did by putting all those classified emails on her server, and the excuse that allowed James Comey to let her off, was if she was too stupid to know what she was doing. At the same time, we were being told she's the smartest woman in the world, and that she had all this experience. And all this experience with handling classified information. Oh, she was Secretary of State. She was First Lady. She was a senator. Sat on the Senate Intel Committee. She was this super smart woman who had all this intel and knew how to handle all this type of stuff. Then, when she gets caught setting up an illegal private server, all of a sudden, whoop, flip the script. She's a complete idiot. She doesn't know what she was doing. She doesn't know anything about technology. She's got 27 Blackberries, which she used for convenience. Jeez. Horribly corrupt. Incredibly stupid. No wonder. No wonder things are in the shape they're in. Thank God for President Trump. We got to drain that swamp, folks. In Congress, these people are complete morons. Let's move on. The True Pundit now reporting that Congressman Rohrabacher does have proof given to him by Assange that would absolve Russia of allegations that it hacked the DNC. Now, this comes as a result of the interview that Sean Hannity did with Rohrabacher. Following that interview, this reporter from the True Pundit contacted Rohrabacher and spoke to one of his staffers because he wasn't available. And he was probing into this radio interview, and it was in this conversation that the staffer told this reporter, he said, well, you know, because the reporter was asking some pretty specific questions that the staffer didn't want to directly answer, so he kind of gave an around the bush sort of answer. He said, well, you know, he said, the congressman said that, if you listen to the interview, he said that he was going to get with Julian Assange And when he got the information that he needed, that he would go back and relate that to President Trump. So now he is actively working. He has people working both sides from the Trump team and people, I guess, his staffers who represent him, to arrange the meeting. So what does that tell you? Is kind of how the staffer puts it to the reporter, to Pundit. So what that tells us is that Congressman Rohrabacher wanted to be able to go back to Trump. He didn't just want to go back to Trump and say, well, I talked to Julian Assange and he says he's got this, or he can prove this or that. It sounds like he really wanted to have the proof. He may not, I don't know if he has physical documents or what he has of evidence. Maybe he just has the explanation of the evidence or something like that. But Rohrabacher has something definitive to excuse me, to relate to the president from Julian Assange that will prove in no uncertain terms that he does have the information. And I can understand why they would do this, because Rohrabacher probably said to Assange, you know, if I go back to the president, I've got to give him something, because he's going to be under a tremendous amount of pressure. And if he does take such a risk as to back off and try to allow you to bring this to light, he's going to be under a tremendous amount of political pressure. We have to be absolutely 100% sure that what you're going to demonstrate is going to be absolutely 100% airtight, that there will be no way of disputing it, that will be 100% conclusive, and that you will have that evidence. This is what I need to go back to the president. And I think Assange has given Rohrabacher what he needs. And I think that's why Rohrabacher is not saying a whole lot other than to say that he's met with Assange, he's got information for the president, a message from Assange. So by digging into this a little bit, it looks like True Pundit has sniffed this out, at least to the extent that this is not just a meeting for Rohrabacher to sit there and kind of kick around a little bit with Trump about this, you know, to say, oh, what if? It sounds like Rohrabacher actually has something definitive for the president from Assange that will leave no doubt what it is that he can do. And believe me, this Rohrabacher's not going to let go of this. I don't think Trump will. How Trump handles it is tricky, but something tells me he's going to find a way to get this done. We just have to keep watching. Second quarter GDP has been revised upward. That's right. We're so used to hearing GDP being revised downward. They always say, well, we think the economy is going to grow 1.2. Oh, it turned out it was only 0.8. We got so used to that during the Obama years. But now we have the second quarter GDP has been revised, and this is even with Janet Yellen raising interest rates now 4 times, which they would never do when Obama was president. But now we have the second quarter GDP has been revised upward. We now have reached 3.0%, the very best in years. And he hasn't even really gotten his economic plan together. He hasn't even gotten his infrastructure plan together, which is really going to boost that as well, not to mention his tax reform and tax cut plan. And then, of course, he's going to repatriate hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars back into the U.S. that's being held overseas. They won't bring the money back because they don't want to lose it. When Trump works out a deal, that will probably be part of the tax thing. And his plan for the infrastructure plan is going to be really cool too. It's a public-private partnership sort of thing. So there's some real exciting things that he's got on the agenda for the economy. But this is really psychological at this point, because he's not really, other than cutting regulations and doing things like that, a lot of what's happening right now is psychological. There hasn't been enough time, even with the regulations he's let go of and things like that and reversed. There's not really been time for this to work itself through the system. So what we're looking at is purely right now 90% psychological. Just wait till the real effects happen. Wait till the real effects happen. We could actually see a level of economic growth, GDP growth, that we haven't seen in this country since the 1986, 1987, 1988. When we were getting those beautiful 4.5% constant quarter after quarter GDP growth following the big Reagan tax cuts. So this is extraordinary. It's just unbelievable, the turnaround. And it's a lot of it's psychological. But the numbers are going to keep getting better. And man, oh man, Trump's going to be reelected, and he's going to be reelected in a big way. It's going to be a very, very big win. I can assure you that. Okay, here we go again. The rotten Reverend Clinton shamelessly promoted her new book, What Happened?, while people are suffering and dying in Texas because of Hurricane Harvey. So today, she showed no emotion over the tragic flooding at all. She just puts out this tweet. She tweeted something, and then on a couple bookstore sites where they're doing her book sale or whatever, and she's going to be doing the speaking and all that. And she's just plugging her book. What horrible timing. She's got to be the worst politician on the history of the planet, man. Says absolutely nothing about the people in Texas. And what has her and her super wealthy husband done for those people down in Texas? Nothing. Because they didn't vote for her. That's the type of person she is. Oh, but she was all over it last weekend, supporting Antifa during the Berkeley riots. She's been all over supporting these leftist, violent, extremist groups funded by her friend George Soros. But she has nothing, no words of comfort from the rotten Reverend or her pervert husband. No money coming from the Clintons, I assume. They only steal money from charities. I'm surprised they didn't set up a Hurricane Harvey charity so they could loot that as well. They're probably working on that, as a matter of fact. Absolutely unbelievable. In this book, What Happened? I don't think she's figured out yet that even Democrats don't want to hear from her. They're sick of her. They hate her. She's not popular. She is not popular, as Mario Cuomo would say. Man, oh man, it's like, we know what happened. You got your ass kicked. You got your ass kicked, Reverend, because nobody likes you. The progressives certainly don't like you. You've left that party in shambles. You and your good friend, Barack Hussein Obama, have left the Democratic Party in complete shambles. And now you want to go out and try to tell us all what happened. We already know what happened. You got your ass kicked in grand style. $1.2 billion. You outspent Trump 2-1 and still lost. You had the entire media on your side and still lost. And you want to tell us what happened. I suppose you're going to tell us that Russia hacked the election. Well, in case you haven't heard, Reverend Rotten, nobody's talking about that anymore. Not even your friends in the liberal media. Because we now know that Russia didn't hack squat. It was Seth Rich, most likely, Reverend Rotten, who leaked that information to WikiLeaks. Wouldn't this be great? Hillary puts out her book. She's going out there on her book tour. And just as her book's about to go on sale here at some point, and she's out there trying to promote it, boom! Julian Assange will come out and drop the bombshell. And her entire book will be just completely blown out. Not that... I bet this book will probably be in the cutout section within 24 hours. I bet it won't even be on the New York Times Top 100 list. I bet you that she'll have to cancel her little book tour probably after a couple of adventures into it because nobody will show up. And she's an extraordinary embarrassment now. I mean, it is becoming embarrassing now. I mean, it's just, she must live in some bubble. She must, I don't know, must live in some sort of false reality, or I don't know where her mind is, man. What's she thinking? You know, we had that photo of her walking down the streets of New York City, you know, about 2 weeks ago, and no one even, hey, Hillary Clinton, hey, can I have your autograph? Hey, Hillary. Nobody had a word to say to her. She's just walking down the street, and people, New Yorkers, walking right by her. They can see it's Hillary. They don't care. Not even New Yorkers give a damn about you anymore, Hillary. My goodness. And, you know, it's, like I said, she's got to go out there and raise some money. Okay. Here we go. More signs. 2 more things that are signs that there's something brewing. Something is definitely brewing, my friends. First of all, I'm a huge NFL fan. Most of my friends are NFL fans. We love the NFL. And I have two friends who've had season tickets since the 1970s. And they have canceled their season tickets. They're fed up. They're sick of it. They're sick of what the NFL is doing. They're sick of it. They don't want any more of it. They don't want to watch it. They don't want to support it anymore. And these are NFL lovers. I mean, people who love, worship the NFL. And even I don't even have near as much interest coming into this season as I normally do. Obviously, I'm not so optimistic about our team, but we generally aren't that optimistic here in Cincinnati about the Bengals, And maybe it has something to do with the fact that it's pretty much, as long as Belichick and Brady are up there in New England, it's like the season is nothing more than an audition to see who's going to lose to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And how bad. Even with the Falcons having like a 27-point lead at halftime, they still lose. You just can't beat these guys. Maybe that has something to do with it, but I think it has a lot more to do with just the shenanigans and the political correctness and the fact that the NFL, the league, is letting themselves be pushed and played around. And I mean, the people who go to NFL games, I mean, this is heartland America, in a lot of these cities, I mean, where the NFL is big. I mean, these are the working class, blue collar people that make the NFL what it is and justify those $1 million salaries and all those millions that the owners make. And people are just sick to death of what is happening. And this is just another way that they can use their money to speak until they get a chance to vote. I'm telling you, something is definitely brewing. And following up on that, we have now, 4 Republican congressional candidates in Minnesota who refused to commit their support to Speaker Paul Big Ears Ryan. That's right, Eddie Munster Ryan. His unpopularity is now carrying over into other states where there are Republicans running. They're running away from Paul Big Ears Ryan. That's right, these guys were participating in a candidate forum. They were asked by the moderator about their supporting Eddie Munster Big Ears Ryan. And all 4 of these Republican congressional candidates said, I'm not prepared to, put my support really behind the speaker. I don't really think I'm really one to go there right now. So, what this tells you is just another signal that people are paying attention and they are seeing the game that the leadership is playing in the Congress. Twitch McConnell, Eddie Munster Ryan, their act is not going over. It's a bust. People are throwing eggs and booing. They're leaving the theater. Lights are being dimmed. The ball game's just about over, my friends. I'm telling you, we can knock out Paul Ryan. We surely can. People are running away from him. And he finally did come out, I think yesterday, and finally, after being shamed into it, to finally come out and criticize Antifa. But it wasn't until after Nancy Pelosi did it. He's very, very late to the dance. He's totally misinformed about what's happening in the country and what's going on around him. Maybe when he's back in his home state in Wisconsin, he's going to get an earful. Maybe someone will wake him up. They certainly need to. Now, I'm sure some of you got a chance to hear Trump's speech today on economics and tax reform. Fantastic speech. That's when he is really, really at his best. Because that's really right down his that is where he is excellent. This is what he really knows. He really knows economics. Particularly, he talked about trade. He talked about really focused a lot on his tax reform. And just a great speech. You can really tell he has a very good command of this issue. And even though we're hearing all this talk about people inside around him trying to talk him out of renegotiating the trade agreements, trying to talk him out of his tax plan, trying to talk him out of a lot of these things, he's still out there talking about it and pushing for it. And something tells me he's not backing down. He's going to be very forceful. Remember, he's the boss. He knows it. So does Mr. Mnuchin and the rest. They know who the boss is. But it was a great speech. But the funny thing is that there was somebody, some Republican went undercover, and I don't know if it's part of James O'Keefe's group or who it was, but someone was undercover there with a camera at the local Teamster Union Hall, where they were organizing a protest. People going to leftists who were going to go protest Trump's speech in Missouri, as if anyone cares. And what they were doing, they were passing out flags to these people to make them look more patriotic. Now, I guarantee you could walk up to any one of those people who are probably paid patsies. Most of them look like they were people, you know, who are probably being paid $50 or $100 to go hold a flag and pretend to protest. I bet you could walk up to every single one of those people and ask them about Trump's tax reform policy, his trade policy, his economic policy. I bet you not a single one of those people could tell you a damn thing about any of Trump's policies in any of those areas. I bet they don't know a thing about any of it. They look to me just like a bunch of, you know, almost like mentally ill people or something. So, you know, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And a lot of those Democrats, a lot of those union Democrats in middle America, in the heartland and blue-collar America, voted for Trump. That's right. You Democrats and you folks there in the labor movement need to take a look at the map. You need to take a look at what color Pennsylvania just turned. Michigan, Wisconsin, you need to take a look at that map, my friends. And you're pursuing a failed strategy. But they continue pursuing it. You know, Sun Tzu loves to say, hey, when your enemy is destroying himself, don't stop him. Don't interrupt him. Huge backlash from the MTV Awards. They tanked badly. Oh yeah? Probably because tens of millions of Americans don't want to sit there and watch a bunch of half-wit, non-talented ignoramuses go up on stage and use all the time that they have to criticize the president. People are sick of it. They don't want to hear it anymore. They might want to buy your records. They might like your songs. But other than that, they want you to shut up. Miley Cyrus and this other Satan's child, what's her name, performed at the Super Bowl, Katy Perry. Yeah, Katy Perry and all these other people. Michael Jackson's daughter, which is not even really his daughter. She was a test tube baby. Please. I mean, she was incoherent. Mark Dice did a little bit on her, and I mean, I listened to what she said. She was trying to make a joke, trying to be funny. Some professional comedians obviously wrote her speech. There's nothing funny. These people aren't funny. They're just angry and bitter and hateful. Nothing funny about that. That's not comedy. I should know. Man, oh man. Unbelievable. Back to the Rotten Reverend. Now, on this little book tour that Hillary's planning to sell the book that nobody's going to buy, if you want to actually attend and you want to sit in some decent seats, $2,400 to listen to Hillary screech and squeal and cry and complain and tell you why she lost. That's the ticket, $2,400. Of course, you can get seats in the peanut throwing section for $1,200. And after doing one of those two things, if you want to wait in line and pay $400, she'll sign the book for you. Unbelievable. See, the Clintons, as I told you yesterday, they're running out of money because nobody's giving them money anymore, so they have to find another scam. Now, I assume as soon as Hillary gets her official minister's certificate in the mail that she probably got out of the back of a classified ad in some kind of a magazine, and she gets her, you know, official preacher's license, they'll probably start a church. The Clintons' church. I mean, they've come up with every possible scam in the world. What better scam than a scam that allows them to have another type business, which is tax exempt? That's right, churches are tax exempt. This will be a whole new fraud and scam for the Clintons. Unbelievable. It's exactly what they'll do. It's just, you know, Hillary's going to get her a Bible and go into showbiz. And I'm sure they'll sucker millions of people out of millions of dollars. And they're probably going to need it because I think that Hillary is going to be racking up some serious legal fees. And I suggested that since they sold that home, and they'll probably sell their other vacation home, probably have to sell that place in Chappaqua. Who knows? They'll probably be living in Section 8 housing by at some point as the money continues to dry up, and they realize they can't afford that lifestyle. They certainly can't borrow any money from Johnny Depp. He's bankrupt too. So Hollywood's, of course, tanking. Their movies aren't selling. Their money is going to dry up. Where are the Clintons going to steal money? Certainly they have an impressive record, a 30-year crime spree that would make Bonnie and Clyde blush. What's next? And I think I suggested that Hillary's new home should be in Alcatraz, but actually I think I like Maura's idea much better. Maura's idea is for Hillary to go to Guantanamo, and I think that's an even better idea. Send Hillary to Gitmo. And you know what? Not only send her to Gitmo, but restrict her from any convalescent visits. And no, I'm not talking about Bill, Slick Willie. I don't think Slick Willie and Hillary ever copulated. I'm pretty sure that Chelsea Clinton's father is Webster Hubble. Take a look at the pics. Take a look at Webster Hubble. Take a look at Chelsea. I'm telling you whose face that is. I would deny her conjugal visits. No visits from her little pal Huma. No, no, no. No more for the Reverend Clinton. No more bearded clam for the Reverend. And something else too that was mentioned by Maura and Patty in the comments about Trump's there to give the speech, and all they can talk about is how, oh, he's not compassionate, he's not showing any empathy. And almost every single one of these pundits using the exact same phrase, he showed no empathy. So there's someone who's delivering the talking points, and it gets dispersed out to all the liberal media because the exact same phrasing and sentences are used, the exact same words are used. Talking about Melania's, who cares what shoes she wears? By the way, she did bring along a pair of sneakers. She just traveled in a pair of high heels. And quite honestly, if any of them liberal dogs look like Melania, whether she's in high heels or not, that's probably what it is, jealousy. Because she is a beautiful woman, and most of these liberal women are dogs. Rachel Madcow. She looks like an armpit that eats. Even in high heels. An armpit that eats is not very attractive. That's right. Oops, forgot to give a microaggression alert. Sorry, I won't mention bearded clam again until I give you a microaggression alert to let you know it's coming. Yes, I'll let you know next time when it's coming. Let's see. Oh boy, Tom Cole of Oklahoma, Republican, back running his mouth again. I talked about him a few months ago. He's been gone for a while, but he's back, and he's now saying, this is not The Apprentice. You can't just say you're fired. Well, you know what, Mr. Cole? Yes, it is The Apprentice. It's the Washington, D.C. version of The Apprentice. And guess what? In this little game that we're now playing, The Apprentice in Washington, it's slightly different. In this particular version, the president doesn't just say you're fired. It's the voters, Republican voters, who get to say you're fired. And hopefully, Mr. Cole, the voters will be saying to you in just a few months, you're fired, Mr. Cole, you asshole. You and your rectal rimshot friends are all going to be taking hiatus forever. And some of you should be going to jail, including your good friend, Senator Magoo, and your good buddy, Nitwit Romney, who still hasn't come out, and neither him or Magoo has come out and backtracked their statements and corrected themselves on Antifa. They're still good buddies with Antifa. But this guy, Mr. Cole, yeah, Trump supporters, he says that Trump's got to work with the Senate Republicans to get a deal. No, Mr. Cole, they have to work with Trump to get a deal because we elected Trump because of his policies. It's his policies we want you to vote on and pass into law. That's what we want, Mr. Cole. We've been waiting for you people for years and years and years, and what have you done? You have been a disastrous failure. You're the reason we got Trump. No, it's incumbent on you, Mr. Cole, and your friends to support the president's agenda. Everything he talked about, we support. That's what you need to be working on, Mr. Cole. You're missing the big picture. You are dumber than a football bat, Mr. Cole. And you need to be whipped and beaten with a football bat. Even though one does not exist, I'll make one. He says, he says that Trump needs to work with the Senate Democrats and House Republicans to fix the problem. No! You're the ones who created the fucking problems, Mr. Cole! You're the ones who created the problems! And you think that Trump should work with you to fix the problems. No, no, no. You created the problems, Mr. Cole. We put Trump in there to fix the problems. Problem is, he can't drain your swamp. But the voters can. And that's what we better do. I'm telling you, friends. We got to drain that swamp. People like Mr. Cole, Senator Magoo, Jeff the Flake, who's now down 26 points, Paul Eddie Munster, Big Ears Ryan. We know he won't be down near the hurricane zone. They still have winds of 45, 55 miles per hour down there. Ryan goes down there, it's likely he'll go airborne. His ass will be whisked up into the storm and carried out to sea. That's a good idea. Maybe we'll have to get a GoFundMe going to send Paul Ryan down to Hurricane Harvey. Give that some thought. You know, I want to finish off by talking about the failing corporate liberal clown media that is claiming that Trump has shown little empathy for the Harvey victims, talking about, you know, Melania's high heels. And you know these liberals, they don't have any empathy themselves for any of these people. They despise these people. They're Texans. The liberal media hates Texans. And Texas hates the liberal media, I can assure you. Unless you're in Austin, of course. They have great music coming out of Austin. But quite honestly, very, very liberal place right in the heart of conservative Texas. But, so I want to kind of finish off this video by just giving the liberal media just a clue. I mean, these are some really stupid people. I'm being serious. You know, you think because they are journalists or whatever, they went to college or whatever, they're smart. You know, I got to tell you, some of the smartest people I know have 7th grade. In fact, one of the very smartest people I know had nothing higher than a 7th grade education. And some of the dumbest people I know have doctorates and master's degrees and things. You know, a liberal arts education doesn't mean you're smart. It just means you regurgitated, memorized a lot of material, and then regurgitated it, and probably kissed a lot of ass. That's basically what that means. But, you know, the fact of the matter is, if you just analyze the facts of this, for those of you in the liberal media who might be watching, I know that probably Chris Cuomo loves my channel. I'm sure he and the Reverend are sitting around watching my YouTube videos all the time, along with Senator Magoo. Now, basically what I would say to you people is, in case you haven't figured it out, I'm going to give you a clue. First of all, before I do, just let me review for just a moment. The man who you said had no chance of winning, including all your great pollsters, defeated what we were told was the best Republican field that we'd seen in years. Defeated 17 of them, and he did it handily. Then he took on the establishment queen of Marxism, the rotten Reverend, defeated her soundly, 303 electoral votes to 236 or something, over 70 electoral point victory. The entire map, if you look at the country, is red. 87% of counties voted for Trump. A massive win. Now he's destroying the liberal media. They're taking him on every day, all of them. He's taking them all on at once, and he's defeating them. He's defeating the entire left-wing establishment. He's defeating all the leftist groups. He's winning. He's beating you people. He's beating you like a seal. Like a red-headed stepchild. Yet, you still haven't figured it out. Even when you're getting your ass kicked, you don't know you're getting your ass kicked. That's amazing. You know, I can understand being kind of stupid. Some people are kind of slow. I get that. Not everyone's born with good genes. You know, I'm happy to be average. But these people are far, far below average. Because even somewhat of a moron knows when he's getting his ass kicked. These people don't obviously realize it. But, you know, there's an old saying, and this is something I want you liberal media folks to ruminate over for just a few moments. If you can generate a thought in your mind, and if you have the attention span at least equal to that of a goldfish. Here it is. Old phrase. Let this simmer in your minds, liberals. Ready? Here it is. Life is tough. It's tougher if you're stupid. Ruminate on that, Mr. Kumo, Ms. Maddow, Woof, Blitzer, and the whole damn crew. You people are too stupid to even know when you're getting your ass kicked. It's tough. Life is tough. It's tougher when you're stupid, especially if you're stupid and you've got a TV camera on your face all day long, and you're writing articles in the New York Times and the Washington Post. It's tough. It's tougher when you're stupid. TowerGate, day 178. Thank you for tuning in. Now that I'm pissed off, I'm calling it a night. I'll be back on Friday for Fun Friday. See y'all.